ロック福田の腕時計魂。今日はなんと僕が今一番会いたかった、ローマンゴティエさん。
なんてスペシャルな回でしょう。
ね。
ちょっとだけ英語で私お話ししようかな。Thank you for having us today, Gotier-san. We're so happy to see you. You come to Japan often, I hear. So how many times is this time?
Oh, difficult to say, but probably maybe 20 times.
日本
Since years, it's quite, yeah, since 98.
1998?
Yes, exactly. 98, yes. The first time I came was to visit Tsugami in Nagaoka. Yes, the machinery manufacturer, exactly, Tsugami.
And then also I heard about this amazing statue, and then we'd like to know about Balduju that you're from on the map, if you don't mind showing
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So all of that wall is in fact a kind of piece of art. You know, it took really a long time to achieve, and it's representing this landscape, the view from the sky of the Vallée de Joux. So the Vallée de Joux is all of that side here, here, and we are located exactly here.
Oh,
yes.
Office?
The office, and my house is just here.
Oh.
The boutique is amazing. And did you assemble all the interiors? Like, did you compose everything as well?
Yes, exactly. That was for me, I will say, the first time to, I will say, work on the design for a boutique and the vision also for the future. So the first time at the Takashi Maya, and for example, the table was one of the central work of the evolution of tradition. So with the feet, the legs of the table, more like the logical one, the macro rotor, with something very artistic and curves, and the top more like, I would say, the last pieces with the continuum, much more modern. So there is like two types of design in the same table. And yes, so the table was really nice to work with some designers and the architect who did also all of the things. Details also on the display, on the column. So yeah, it was really nice to work on the design.
じゃあ今日は、時計についていろいろと聞かせていただきましょう。はい。じゃあ早速よろしくお願いいたします。
Thank you so much. Let's get seated.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
でゴティエさんは、その一番最初に時計に興味を持ったのって何歳ぐらいからなんですか？
When did you start being interested in watches?
I'm born in the Vallée de Joux, and I was not really at the starting interest about watchmaking. And this came, I will say, later, after my education with the school. And it's when I started, I will say, to manufacture parts of watches.
意外ですね。そうですね。We're surprised to hear that actually.
Special story, right?
Yes, but I think, you know, when you're born in a place that is, you know, all surrounded by the same things, as I think I was already with a kind of entrepreneur mindset, you know, like autonomous, and I'm not necessarily a person who follow everybody.
こうすごくね、たくさん趣味をお持ちだというふうにねお聞きしているので、後々おいおい福田さんがそこを掘り下げてくださると思うんですけど、私ほら最初に何の時計を手に入れられたか聞いてみてもいいですか？
そうね。
The first, I will say, I received it from my parents, but the first that I bought was Audemars Piguet Royal Oak.
In gold, in white gold.
Stainless steel. Stainless steel, yes.
Everyone's favorite.
That was in 2000.
はい。それは何かきっかけがあったんです
What
か？
was the reason? I mean, was a special year?
I will say a part of my family was working there, and my brother is working at Audemars Piguet, and yes, I will say I got an opportunity. And, yes.
もともとエンジニア出身で、そのエンジニアになろうっていうふうに思われた理由っていうのは何ですか？
Yeah, I would say that I was since very young attracted by the mechanism, and I did a lot of bicycling, for example, and to try to custom my bicycle to disassembly, assembly, and I really liked it also all of the, I love music. And like with the Walkman, I was also opening the Walkman, trying to fix again. Exactly, it was quite mechanical at that time. And I will say yes, I love mechanism, mechanical mechanism. Like I love cars also, so you see.
機械物がね
ね
好きだということで。
でそこからその時計作りを始めようって思った一番のきっかけっていうのは何なんでしょうね。
I think, after 1 year that I was working and doing parts of watches, I really said to myself that, Romain, look, you're born in the Vallée de Joux, you have an engineer background, how to develop machinery, and now you know how to do parts of watches. And I was really, talking to myself, Romain, why not doing your own movement in watches? And this was like a bit crazy, but this is how everything started, yes. But because I started with the manufacturing and yeah.
ね、エンジニアのバックグラウンドをお持ちですから、やっぱりこう発想がユニークで素敵ですよね。
Yeah, I think I didn't do in watchmaking, and I think for me it was really nice because, like I said, I don't like to follow in a way. And if you learn something at school, then after that you are like, you have a certain vision that how the things has to be. And for me, I don't have that format. So I guess this is how I can be a bit more free, with more freedom to be creative in that sense. Yes.
でフィリップ・デフォーさんにお会いになってっていう、話、それは何がきっかけでフィリップ・デフォーさんにお会いになったんですか？
I will say I started to disturb a lot Philip when I did my MBA. Yes, that was really the time that for me to understand that how it was in a way possible to start from nothing, from a scratch paper, and to try to really understand about watchmaking, and so it was really related to that time. And I think the relation that we have is based on that. Because when I went to visit him, it was like nothing, like a lot of persons who went to visit him, talking and asking, but after that they did nothing. And I think I was almost the only one who visited him, disturbing him, asking a lot of questions. But at the end, when I showed to him the first prototype, it was in 2005, 2006, 2005, he was really, I will say, impressed that finally one disturbed him, but did something. And from that time, we get closer and closer. And you really know that I started from nothing and then doing the things.
ブランドの創設も2005年でしたかね。ゴティエさんのその役割というのはブランド創設時はどんな感じだったんですか？
例えばそのデザインとか最初のコンセプトとか。
When I was at the technical school, when I did my education, I was already, in the thinking to produce things by myself. And for example, like I said, I love music, and I did my own speaker for the bass, so a subwoofer. And that was exactly, with the same meaning. I was trying to find in the market a subwoofer that will have all of the criteria that I was looking for, and it wasn't. Sometimes the issue was the quality of the case. Sometimes the issue was the woofer was not enough well. Sometimes it was related to the filter, the connection, And I started and I said, okay, let's do one for you as you want. And I think everything started with this. I have in my home still working, and this is I think how I started to understand that if you want to have something that you really like, maybe do this by yourself.
ムーブメントの設計はご自身がなさっているのか、それともその別に時計師の方がいらっしゃるんですか？
I will say until Logical One, I was alone. And after that, for sure, I share with the watchmakers, I share with the team. But yes, it was really something that, for example, when we won the Grand Prix de Genève in 2013 for the men's complication, for that reason, you know, it was for me not only a prize, it was really a kind of thing that Romain, you have to continue. And personally, for me, it was, I will say, I don't know, but myself, you know, I was not a watchmaker, you know, from the manufacturing. And in a way, you know, I had to try to prove to myself that I was able to do that. And the Logical One just proved to me that, Romain, you did it. And it was a kind of achievement, yes. So this is things I will say that really started after the Logical One to give me more and more freedom. I didn't have to prove anything to myself. It was done with I will say, with the Logical One. So this is a really nice thing.
いろんなモデルが、今あって、今現在、何モデルあるんでしたっけ？
Now I would say it's starting to be 4. The Prestige,
4モデルか。
the Logical One, Inside, and the Continue.
それぞれ限定数がすごく少なくて、でつい先日そのロジカル1がもう生産中止に生産終了になるっていうふうにインフォメーションがあって、その数をあまり作らないっていうのはどういったその理由なんですか？何か狙いがあるとかっていう。
I will say, you know, with the level of handcrafted, with the craftsmanship that we have, for example, on the Logical One, the Skillet micro-rotor, the micro-rotor, we cannot find easily the person, you know, with the skills. And I think this is the main reason. The main reason is I will not find, you know, in beveling, for example, the quantities of person with the right skills to do that. So it's automatically, in a way, you know, and logically, you know, limited by that, by human. And it's a difficult work, you know, that some people, we already tried to train, you know, some people we were thinking about they could have the skill, but after 1 year it was like too difficult, you know, for her, for example. So it means that it's not a work for everybody, you know, with the loop, with the tension, with the, you know, all of the precision that you need, and hours and hours and hours to doing the same things. It's not so easy. It's also maybe one of the reasons why in beveling there isn't a lot of person. It's really a kind of, yeah, you need to be so patient, and yeah, it's why, you know, I have to value what it is.
でもう一つ気になっていたのはだからロジカル1を生産終了にしてしまったっていうコンティニューさせない理由。
The thing is, you know, I was really looking for the meaning of collecting something, and the meaning of collecting something is when you cannot find anymore. So if you bought during the production time, then you have one. But when it's finished, you know, it's like a real collector. So, and I will say the value will be different. You know, the emotional value, I have one. The value, I will say, in terms of price will move up, because nobody will sell something that is impossible to find again. Why to sell for less? Maybe for more, but never for less. So this is really a kind of thing that I was thinking for my collectors, to give a real value to them, and to, you know, it's like a step of you can have, and now it's going to be really a collector item. And the meaning is that, and it's also a question of respect. It's also for my team, you know, to maintain, I will say, also a level of motivation, because if you work on the same things during 20 years, it starts to be boring in a way. So there is a lot of reason.
じゃあそのロジカルワンについてお聞きしたいんですけれど、あれの一番の、ポイントというかその特徴はスネイルカム、あれを思いついたきっかけっていうのは何なんですかね。あれは完全にオリジナルのアイデアなんですか。
Your original idea? Did you come up with this idea by yourself?
Yes, and in the thinking, when I was working on the next piece, after the Prestige, HMS, I was really thinking with a complication mechanism who has a sense in watchmaking. And the constant talk was for me, quite logic to work on that. Because we talk about precision, but in a normal watch, the precision of the watch is moving with, if you don't wind, the precision is going to be affected. So you need always, to take care of your watch to have a good precision. And means, for me, has a lot of sense in terms of mechanic, that how we can ask a mechanism to give precise output if the input is not constant. It's impossible. And this was the base of the reflection. Then I started to have a look on the mechanism, was already existing, and the one who was resonated the most for me was the fusee chain. And I did some research, and I started to understood that the tricky point of that mechanism was the chain. Long, sometimes rust. The assembly was, very tricky, difficult to do, and a lot of pocket watches are just, I will say, out of work, out of order, because the chain, just the chain. The rest of the mechanism is fine, but the chain was broke, rust, and I really understood that if you want to do that mechanism, that kind of vision, you have to rethink about the chain. And I will say from the bicycle that I like to do. When I was 18, my first engine was a motorcycle. So when I was 18 years old, I bought my first motorcycle. It was also with a chain. So this is really, the thinking was related to the chain of the bike and the bicycle. So this is how I started to work on the length of the chain, to say that, Romain, you need to have a chain stronger, so you cannot enroll, in multi-layers. So all of the thinking was that. And the fusee has a simple principle, it's the lever. If you push a door here, it's easy. If you push a door here, it's much more complicated. But you do the same work, and you just amplify the torque here or here. So it means the fusee is exactly the contraction of the fusee in one layer is a snail cam.
一つはチェーンを短くするっていうことと、あとPG だとこうチェーンラインがこう変わるのをスネイルカムだとこう、同じレイヤーっておっしゃってましたけど、そのチェーンのラインが変わらないっていうところがポイントなんですかね。
To avoid to unroll multi-layers. A chain wants to work, only by traction. The torsion of a chain is not nice. Also, so I was really thinking about that. The chain has to be, with in one layer to work properly, and to reduce, I will say, the numbers of layers. And the thickness of the chain was, I will say, for me really important. And the chain of Logical One can be serviced. You don't have to buy another one. And in 100 years, for example, if something happened on the chain, a watchmaker will understand that he can disassemble, maybe take out the links, maybe something is broke, reduce the length of the chain, fix again, and the watch is working. The Logical One for me was really the time to work with, I will say, a dial opening. I remember with the first caliber, a lot of collectors said for me, Romain, the movement is beautiful, but we would like to wear the watch from the other side because the movement is beautiful. And I was thinking about that, why to place only on the back what we are able to do. And I will say in terms of craftsmanship, in terms of beauty, has to be and could be also on the top of the watch. So the logical one with the chain, the fusees on the top. And I will say all of the important things was with when I started the design, one graphic line for the watch, the hour minute, the second and the balance, and another graphic line for the complication. And that was, the main, I will say, orientation of design, those two lines. This is keep on the macro rotor, and you will see in the future.
So beautiful. I wish we could flip or
Yes,
something.
exactly. So this is the reason that I will say collectors also appreciate. It's not only from when you take out the watch and you look at the back, is you enjoy, and for me, I think with that time of pieces is you don't need to see the time. The collector enjoyed all of the rest, and mechanical life.
さっき新作があってちょっとお聞きしたんですけど、新作を
新作今日本人が持ってきたんですよ。
見せていただけるんですか。
ぜひ。
The continuum was for me, I would say a group of modern approach, something more contemporary, with a DNA more graphical, and with the sport luxury. So this was really, I will say, my thinking about how to have a piece, like I would say, a bit more affordable, and to clearly have, I will say, a difference in terms of design philosophy. The logical one is really with artistic, with a different approach of complexity, with beveling, and that one is more, I will say, modern, graphical, but the beauty is. Yes. So I had really, a lot of pleasure to work on something with an harmony, with a modern approach from the dial side, the case, and the movement. So the movement has a vision of the finger bridge, like it was in the past in terms of the history of watchmaking, but with my vision with a modern approach. And really important, all of the, I will say, the haute couture and the prêt-à-porter, all are beautiful. It's just the approach which is different, the level of, and this was really my vision about to try to bring, I will say, something in the haute horlogerie level, but with a contemporary approach, modern, and I will say a casual luxury, and also the use of metal with a titanium movement. A lot of hand finishing inside, but modern.
ダイヤルもチタンなんですか、これ。
ダイヤルもそうですね。ダイヤルis titanium as well.
Dial is titanium. The hands and the index are in gold, white gold. Yes. So 55 grams.
すごい。これですね。
手に取ってみてください。
いいんですか？ Thank you so much. Feel so privileged. で、このチタンのムーブメントですけど、やっぱりハンドフィニッシングで仕上げがすごく楽しめるっていうふうにねおっしゃってましたね。綺麗ですよ。
すごいよね。
また全然雰囲気が違いますけど、でもやっぱり通じるものがあります。
I like modern things, it's like evolution of tradition. That piece is really, I will say also that meaning, the evolution of tradition. And I was able in a way, to work on this also for me in terms of design is also all of the 17 years, in watchmaking, traveling, seeing clients and collectors, and also the understanding about manufacturing, finishing, and this is all of that knowledge, in craftsmanship that we were, I will say, able to do that. I was able to design and to work on that. The continuum, the C is really a lot of synthesis of years of experience.
いやでも本当にすごく素敵な時計ですね。
というわけで話は尽きないんですけれども、そろそろ時間になってしまったので、
始まっちゃったので、はい。
本当に今日はどうもありがとうございました。まだまだお話お伺いしたいんですけれども。
We wish we had more time, but I guess we'll have to be kicked out from here. We really hope that there's another time that we could, hear more about your stories. But thanks again for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and for sure we will have time, and it was a great pleasure and another time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
嬉しい。
本当にありがとうございました。
ありがとうございます。
はい。
Can we shake hands? Is that okay?
Yes, for sure.
じゃあ握手をね、いただきたい。じゃあ福田さんから。
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so
Thank you so
much.
much. It was a pleasure.
Sorry for the cold hands.
ということで、
ありがとうございます。
はい。